In this lesson, we're going to talk about how we can achieve these soft diffuse shadows whenever rendering outside of the scanline renderer. For example, whenever rendering in MetalRay. Alright, so here's where we left off in our previous lesson. So talking about the advanced ray trace shadows and the area shadows to get these nice soft diffuse looks on our direct shadowed effects. Now, one thing that we do need to keep in mind is the fact that these area shadows and the advanced ray trace shadows do not translate over into MetalRay. So for example, let's take a look at a preset that involves MetalRay. So we'll load this up, and you'll notice as soon as we hit render that we're presented with this lovely little error message that says in so many words that these area shadows are not supported in MetalRay. And what happens is these shadows will go ahead and render, but they're rendered as just normal ray trace shadows. Alright, so how can we actually achieve these soft diffuse shadows within MetalRay? Well, the best way to do this is to actually use a MetalRay light. So if I go back to my Create panel, and underneath the Standard pull-down menu, we have an option for a MetalRay Area Omnidirectional Light and an Area Spotlight. Right, now these will let us get these soft diffuse shadows within MetalRay. So for example, let me go ahead and just drop in some kind of an omnidirectional light. And if I go to the Modify panel for this, with this MetalRay light selected, you should see now a Special Area Light Parameters rollout. And now what this will do is basically give us control over the size of the area, very similar to what we were doing with the area shadows in the previous lesson, except this is actually controlling this for MetalRay. Alright, now this does get to be a little bit of a problem, especially because we already have our light here, and it's set up, and everything is most likely set the way that we want. Alright, so how can we keep from actually deleting this light, and then having to go through the whole process of repositioning a MetalRay light to take its place? What you can actually do is use a Max script to convert any kind of a 3ds Max light into a MetalRay light. So with this point light selected, or this omnidirectional light selected, let's go over to the Utilities, take a look underneath Max script, and by default you should already have a Max script called Convert to MetalRay Area Light. So with any light selected, or any multiple lights selected, select this script, and then Convert Selected Lights. It's going to ask you, do you want to delete the old lights? We'll go ahead and click Yes. And now what we should see is that whenever we select this omnidirectional light, it is now a MetalRay Area Light. And it also now has these MetalRay Area Shadow parameters. Right. Instead of the Area Shadows rollout, let's actually take a look at this Area Light rollout. Alright, so we do want to make sure that the shadows are set to use ray traced shadows, right? Because again, that is the only type that is going to be available within MetalRay. And now let's take a look at the render. Alright, and now you can see we get these softer shadows. So we can increase the distance or the dispersion of these shadows by taking this radius up to a higher level. So let's try something like, instead of 0.025, something like 0.1. That should give us a fairly spread out diffuse shadow. There we go. So you can see now that's much softer, much more diffuse. And you'll probably also notice that one of the good things about using MetalRay for this is the fact that these area shadows actually render out quite a bit faster than what we were able to get through the scanline render. So if you do have the ability to use MetalRay for these types of effects, you can definitely get some nice results very quickly. So we can also take this samples up to a little bit higher level. That will start to eliminate some of this speckling and some of the noise that we have in here. So let's maybe try something like 7 and 7 for the horizontal and vertical values. Alright, and there's our final result. Okay, so that's a look at how we can use MetalRay and still get these nice, soft area type shadows.